Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 74 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 25. A good Sunday to y'all. Hope you're enjoying the last little bit of your weekend. House guests certainly were busy over the weekend. We weren't sure exactly how this veto competition was going to, the veto twist was going to happen. Well, now we know, and quite the interesting situation we now have. We had two veto competitions. We now have two veto winners. We also have two punishments that were handed down, and we got a lot more strategizing. We've got a potentially major twist or major change in what's going to happen going forward that's going to impact Thursday and the rest of the season. Yeah, it's been an exciting 24 hours. So let's talk about everything that happened. First of all, early yesterday morning, the house guests found out, I think it was via a newspaper posting a headline on the wall. The house guests found out that everyone would be competing in two veto. Well, let me just say another. Everyone would be competing in a veto competition. The winner would then be sitting out as they played a second veto competition. So yes, two veto competitions held yesterday. And because the winner of the first has to sit out for the second, it guaranteed that we'd have two separate veto winners as well. It's a lot of people wielding a lot of power this week as a result of it. So, I mean, just think about it. Two people holding veto. There's only 8 people left in the house. That means 25% of the people in the house hold veto power. Now, theoretically, and this scenario didn't happen, but if you had assumed Jag is the HOH, right? He's put up Felicia and Blue. What if, say, America and Corey had both won the veto competition? They had chosen to take down Felicia and Blue. That means there would only be 3 people left in this house for Jag to put up for those 2 slots. That would have been Cirie and Matt and Bowie Jane. In other words, that's all a bunch of conjecture, but the key is that it's a little bit like Frenchie's season back from season 23. A lot of targets out there at this point in time because 2 people have veto power. So we're going to talk all about that. I don't want to get into too much scenarios right now because Lord knows the guests have done enough of that as well. So the house guests found out how the rules were going to work with this veto competition. And with that knowledge, with the knowledge there were going to be 2 different veto winners, and with 2 different vetoes winners, do you assume that Matt and or Jag maybe have a decent chance of winning one of those 2 vetoes? Yeah, I would, and the house guests did as well. With that knowledge, we had both Blue and Felicia talking to Matt, making all kinds of promises if he was to win one of those vetoes and use it against either one of them. All kinds of promises. They didn't talk to him at the same time, 2 separate conversations, but certainly both making their pitch to Matt about why, if he won, he should use the veto on them. Matt's a popular player right now, which just shows his social game is doing pretty well, and his athletic competitive ability also. So they both talked to him quite a bit about that. Blue also spent a lot of time telling Matt that Corey and America have been trying to recruit her for quite a while now, saying a lot of things that Corey and America had been telling her a lot of things about Matt and Jag, basically trying to throw the 2 of them under the bus just to give Matt more reason to pull Blue off if he was to win the veto. Felicia at one point was asking Matt and Jag if they'd use a veto to put America and Corey up. You know, as direct as Felicia is, no him hawing around about if you do or don't have veto, HOH. She just said, look, if one of y'all wins a veto, would you pull me down, put America or Corey up? And Matt's still acting like Corey is probably the HOH. And so he's saying, well, you know, it's probably more likely that Matt or Jag, that myself or Jag would go up if the veto was used, Felicia. She's not buying that. I think she suspects at least that Jag is the HOH. It's certainly been talked about, but Matt's still playing dumb a little bit and saying, yeah, you know, I can't do anything about it, Felicia, but she's absolutely putting it out there. Corey and America. If you get a chance, Corey and America would be a great way to go, Matt. He did tell both of them that he would use it on them. So can't be making the same promises to 2 different people. If Matt was to win the veto, but he did tell both of them that would be the case. All right. At this point, we also have Cirie and well, let's talk about it a little bit more. We've got Jag talking to Matt and saying, look, if Felicia and Blue were both to win vetoes, that we could have major problems. And this gets back to what I was talking about earlier. If they both win vetoes, they both pull themselves off. That means that Jag has to put 2 new people on the block. That means in a single week, Jag has put up 4 different people on the block. Half the house is on the block because of Jag. Kind of bet you're wishing you'd kept it secret at this point in time, right, Jag? Because that's a lot of people that could be coming back after Jag for what he did this week. So he's pointing out saying, look, if they both win vetoes, we could be in a little bit of trouble here. We've got Corey telling America that they could potentially leave this week as a result of this twist. He's recognizing that they're a little bit vulnerable as well. And Cirie telling Felicia that this gives the 2 of them the chance to maybe get out one of those players that everyone's been afraid to get out. So with a lot of the house, they're seeing fear, a little concern about this double veto twist. Cirie and Felicia are seeing all kinds of opportunities as a result of it. The key, though, is a lot of people are seeing this twist as being a major impact. I think everyone's playing hard for this veto that took place, for these vetoes that took place later in the day. All right, so we've got Cirie and Felicia talking about it could be a great opportunity for them. And at that point in time, then they're then saying a prayer to God to let them win both the vetoes. And I give my soapbox for a second. I really don't like people praying for a victory in a game, especially a game that involves people lying, betraying, do all kinds of underhanded, devious stuff. In praying to God that you get the victory, you're praying to God that he makes sure someone else doesn't get a victory. I just don't think God cares that much about Big Brother. I think in this day and age and everything that's going on in the world, he's got more important stuff he's dealing with. But whatever, let him pray. I shouldn't be going on and on about it. It just kind of irritates me. All right, with that being said, the feeds were down from noonish or so to about 7 o'clock. So it was a long, drawn out time away because they had 2 vetoes to take place. When we return, we learn that the 2 veto winners are Jag, number 1, and number 2 veto winner is Blue. Blue finally crosses the finish line first in the competition. First victory for Blue this season. She has won veto. Comes at a very opportune time, considering that she's on the block, considering that she was the number 1 target to go home this week. Blue is probably won the competition that will keep her. Well, it will keep her in the game. Otherwise, she probably would not have been staying in the game. So, yeah, very fortunate for Blue that she won this one. Certainly going to put a kink in the plans to get at Blue as a target this week, right? And it seemed like a lot of the house kind of was on board with that. Well, a lot of changes are going to take place as a result of that. So let's talk about the competitions themselves before we talk about the repercussions. First of all, the first comp involved, I'm sure y'all seen it before, it involves the one with everyone standing on a disc that has a rope in the middle going up to a assembly that spins everyone around. They're crashing into foam barriers and walls and things like that. It was the final 4 HOH comp during my season. It was the competition that Holly threw, that Nicole ended up winning. Not my favorite competition. I don't have a body that's built to hang on to a rope and stand on a very small disc. I soon realized when I did that. But that's the first competition that took place. And this one, apparently it lasted about 2 hours or so. And it's the one that Jag won. Now, there was some advantage. Apparently, the winner of the first veto gets to go second during the veto ceremony. So they have a little bit more control on the process because they get to decide based on how the first person's gone, then they get to decide. So anyway, Jag will go second in the veto ceremony come Monday. But Jag won the first competition. Apparently, Blue came in second place on that one as well. So she had a pretty good day. So that was the first veto competition. The second veto competition, a little less certain about this because I'm not sure we've seen this before, but apparently involved a little bit of guessing. The guests were told that every second that went by, a certain amount of money was added to a pot, and they had to, when the horn went off, they had to wait until the kitty had gone up to $5,000, $10,000, something like that. But they weren't shown how much was going up second by second, which meant that all the house guests had to count in their heads. If they assumed that, it's going to take 300 seconds, they had to basically count to 300 in their head and I guess hit the buzzer at that point in time. Whoever was closest to the right amount of money won. And I'm hearing that Bowie Jane was talking about using, I guess, her DJ skills, keeping a beat in her head to try to count it and everything. And I think it was Jag or Matt that was talking about saying, yeah, she was pretty close on time, but a lot of people just screwed up in trying to figure out how much money per minute or per second. We don't know exactly what it was, but it doesn't really matter. At the end, Blue won this thing. And so again, Blue is going to be safe as well. Now, in addition to the two veto winners, there were also two punishments, which we hadn't counted on. But we've got two different punishments, one of them a little bit more severe than the other one. And we're not really sure how they were determined. Apparently, losers had to go pick a card. Maybe it was the first two out or the furthest away from the best guess. Not really sure, but it was Cirie and Felicia who have the two punishments. Felicia's, I truly think, is the most severe, especially since she's on the block. Felicia must spend the next 24 hours in solitary confinement in the comic room. She gets peanut butter and jelly for food. There's no going to the kitchen this time. Mr. B supplied the peanut butter and jelly for Felicia. There's actually a TP setup. TP setup in the room. I thought TP. A TP setup in the room with a little personal Kim toilet or something inside, so she has a little privacy. Hence my TP. Bad on the plans this morning, but she's not leaving that room. Bathroom facilities are in there. Food's in there. She's stuck for the next 24 hours, which again, being on the block, never good. But I do recall in a season past, a guy by the name of Dan Giesling who had a 24-hour solitary confinement. And it's while he was in there that he came up with a plan for his funeral speech, which is one of the most iconic speeches, most iconic events in Big Brother history. Dan used it to his advantage. He came out of there with a game plan that really carried him to the end. We'll see if Felicia does that. Is she going to come out with some huge speech that just vaults her to the winner's chair at the very end of it? Maybe not, but hey, she's got 24 hours to think about it. So we'll see. She'll hopefully put that to very good use. But yeah, Felicia is going to spend the next 24 hours in solitary, which is incredibly tough when you're also on the block because it means you can't campaign with these two veto holders. She's got to be hating that. The other punishment, a little more entertaining. Cirie is playing a superhero. Now, I'm not sure how long this one is. If it's 24 hours longer, I think it's got to be longer because we didn't see much of it last night. But Cirie has to play a superhero. She's got a superhero unitard on. You can barely tell because she's still wearing her robe over the outside of it. She loves that robe, doesn't she? But she's wearing a superhero BB Comics looking, well, you can see it right here. A superhero unitard. At various times, a loudspeaker comes on, Cirie, it's time to be a superhero. And she has to go into a phone booth that they found installed underneath the stairs, kind of near where you walk in to go to the bathroom area and the gym and all that. There's now a old-timey phone booth. Half the people probably don't even know what a phone booth is anymore that are watching this. But there's a phone booth she has to go into when called, go into the phone booth, put on various costume accessories, and then do some superhero stuff, whatever that might be. We got an example of it last night. The backyard was open for a little while, but at one point she had to put on a mask and gloves. I think she had some boots as well. She had to put on some extra superhero. So you can see the mask right here. She had to put on some superhero stuff and then go out in the backyard and roll from one side of the yard to the other. I think they were talking about somersaults, but she kind of just did side rolls and not the most superhero-y looking grace in the way she did it, but she did it. Did it? She would. So yeah, we got to see Cirie, the superhero. As soon as she got done, she went back into the phone booth, took everything, the gloves and mask and everything off. And so yeah, that's going to be her punishment for a while. Not nearly as bad as Felicia's at all. So now let's talk about what happens next, now that we know who those veto winners are, because it is leading to a major flip in the way things are going on since Blue can't get on the block right now. We've got Jag and Matt talking about maybe what they could do, different scenarios they could use to keep the secret that Jag is the HOH. Is it really a secret when everyone knows about it? And it does seem like just about everyone knows at this point. But they're talking about maybe what they could do to put people up that would keep that a little bit of a secret. How to blame it, for example, on America or Corey, make it seem like America or Corey actually are the HOHs instead. They just can't figure out a way to do it, especially after having told at least half the house already. So they can't figure out how to keep the blame on someone else. Just own it at this point. You're going to spill the beans to some people. Just own it at this point. Do what is best for your game. All right, we've got Blue still targeting Corey in America. Would you expect anything else? She's still targeting them. She's talking to Jag and Matt, and she's saying, look, did you know the very first thing that happened after that first veto ceremony, America came up to me and said, hey, did you notice how long Matt held onto that rope? How, he would have been up there forever. Did you just notice how long? I'm not sure if she's trying to point out that Jag was very intent on winning, or that he was very athletic and that he was able to stay up there for so long. But she's basically saying, yeah, she immediately is calling you out, Jag, to me as soon as that event is over. She's also talking about the fact that before the veto competitions took place, that she had made it seem very much like Corey talked about wanting Felicia out, but then America had told Blue that, hey, in reality, Corey wants you out. I'm going to do everything possible to try to work on Corey to make sure that doesn't happen. But just so you know, Corey wants you out. So Blue letting it be known that they're just kind of being a little sneaky in everything they do. And they're certainly calling out Jag as well as, and she points out they've been doing that for a while now, just so you know. All right, we've got that. Jag is saying that, pointing out himself during this conversation with Blue and Matt, he's saying, look, Corey and America, they're with everyone right now. Everyone, 100% with everyone. They feel like they're on good terms with everyone. It's just not a good situation. Blue is saying that she really wishes that Jag and Matt were HOH, so maybe they could take out Corey and America this week. Wink, wink. Yeah. Hey, God, wouldn't it be great if one of y'all were HOH so you could do what we all needs to be done? Oh, how unfortunate that it isn't one of y'all. Now, Blue has not been told at this point in time, but I think she has a decent understanding that it could be one of them. So she is certainly going to throw that out there. So they've got that. While she's talking upstairs to the two of them, we've got Corey and America in bed downstairs together. And Corey is nervous. He's saying, Blue and Matt and Jag, they've been up there in that have not room for a while talking. Wonder what they're talking about. I'm a little nervous with them up there having these long conversations. So go up there and break it up, Corey. Why let them continue conversations? That's one of the strategies of Big Brother. Getting away, run interference. Lord, there are times I wanted to go to bed so bad during my season, and I would hear people talking. I'd get up in the middle of the night to go hang out in a room, not because I cared what the people were talking about. I just wanted to make sure they weren't talking about me. And Corey's pointing it out, but he's not going up there. This is a danger of a showmance in the game of Big Brother. You end up spending too much time together instead of playing the game, working on relationships, running interference, doing other things. Corey's just too comfortable lying in that warm, cozy bed with a friendly person next to him. He needs to be up there breaking it up, and he's going to pay the price that he didn't do that. All right, as I mentioned before, the backyard is now open. I'm still not sure if either one of these comps were played in the backyard or played somewhere else. It certainly seems like the spinning disc should be played in the backyard. It was during my season. I would expect it to be, but that seems like awful quick to set up and take it down, considering they had the backyard just not too much earlier than that. So I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll see when we watch the episode. But the backyard is open, so a lot of them spending time back there. We do have Matt and Jag in the bathroom. Now, this is where it starts getting a little bit interesting. Matt and Jag are in the bathroom. They're talking about the possibility of telling Cirie and Blue both that Jag is the HOH. And one of the reasons, well, besides everyone else already knowing, one of the reasons is because Matt mentions that Cirie is really worried that she's getting ready to go up on the block as a replacement. Now, Cirie kind of suspects it's Jag already, but Matt's saying she's really worried that she's getting ready to go on the block, and I'd love to get her settled down and let her know that's not going to be the case. But we can't do that unless we tell her we know who the HOH is. So they do talk about that. Jag at one point says Felicia's not going home next week, and he does not want Cirie to go home. He obviously doesn't want Bowie Jane or Matt to go home. Not a lot of people left in this house, right? As he mentions he just mentions Felicia's name, but we assume the rest of them he doesn't want to go home, which basically leaves, I don't know, America and Corey as Renom replacements. Yeah, just by the nature of the game, as you start losing numbers, number of people you have available start dropping as well. Corey and America, perhaps a little bit by default, a little bit by Blues campaigning and such, are starting to seem like they're going to be the target this week. And so, sure enough, as that's talked about a little bit more, Jag pretty much just says, yeah, it's like a light bulb snapped in his head because Jag says, I think, what if we just did this? What if we, Blue's going to pull herself from the block. He says, I'll put up America. Consider the scenario. I'll put up America as the first renom. Then I'll use the vote on Felicia, pull her off the block, put up Corey. Corey and America are now on the block. He says, yeah, there's going to be blood on my hands. Well, whatever. At this point in time, I don't care. There's going to be blood on my hands. I get it. He says, but if I do that, it's going to force them to campaign against each other. Now, that could be interesting. How aggressively is Corey going to campaign against America or vice versa? I kind of think America will go pretty hard against Corey, but we'll see. But he's saying they're going to have to campaign against each other. Also, if we put both of them up, it makes sure that one of them goes home. Jag's worst nightmare would be just to put up Corey, for example. Corey works his magic. He survives a block. Now you've got Corey and America still as a duo going after Jag at this point in time. So he's saying if I put them up together, one of them goes home and the other one becomes a lot less effective as a result. Corey is the top target of the two. Matt and Jag start counting it up, and they think they've got the votes. They're thinking that Matt and Cirie and Bowie Jane, right there, that's 3 votes to send Corey out the door. I have a feeling Blue would probably vote to send Corey out as well. Yeah, you think? So they're realizing they do have the votes to send Corey out if that's what they want to do. Jag is a little bit worried as they start to break up the meeting between the two of them. Jag is a little bit worried about information that Corey and America may have about them, that they'll spill to everyone else as they walk out the door. Valid concern. It's certainly an issue. And they're saying we need to get ahead of it. That may mean revealing some of that ahead of time to other people, downplay it, say, yeah, we're just playing along. We never were too intent with it. But there are some risks involved in doing this because they've been so open with some of their conversations with these two. But it sounds like the plan has been made. Use both vetoes. Well, we know Blue's using hers. Use the other veto on Felicia as well. Corey and America going on the block against each other. Now, at one point during this conversation, Corey does come in and Jag talks about the fact that he's worried. He says, it seems like Cirie's a logical choice. Blue will pull herself off. We could put Cirie up against Felicia. One or the other goes home. We'll go after Felicia. And Corey certainly, I think, wants Felicia gone. He says, but I'm really worried that Cirie is going to be mad at me for putting her up in the first place. Well, theoretically, she doesn't know, but I think he realizes it's going to get out, if nothing else. So he's worried about Cirie being mad at him if that happens. And Corey says, look, Cirie's already resigned to going on the block. She was already campaigning to me in the kitchen. So I don't know that you have to really worry about that too much, Jag. All right. We also have Matt telling a little bit later. So that's the end of that conversation. It sounds like the plans are laid. Based on that, we do have Matt talking to Cirie a little bit later out in the backyard saying, look, you need to talk to Jag when you get a chance. And Cirie's getting kind of excited. He said, you need to talk to Jag, but I'm just telling you, you're good. You're good to go, but go talk to him. Matt working his magic. Yeah, he could wait till Jag revealed the news to Cirie, but Matt is telling her first. He's working his social game a little bit, making sure the two of them stay tight, that he's the one to give the good news to Cirie. So he has kind of hinted that she's probably all right, but go talk to Jag. So we've got that. Meanwhile, Jag is talking to Bowie Jane in the bathroom. Bowie Jane's very excited. She loves to see this plan coming into play. Jag at one point says, we've talked about it for a while. This is it. We're drawing the line. Can't pussyfoot around anymore. We're drawing the line this week. And Bowie said, draw that line. Draw that line. I think Bowie Jane's happy to see that, a line's being drawn. I think she's happy to know that she's on the right side of the line and looking pretty good right now. And she is looking pretty good. I think things are working out for Boy Jane. All right, we do have feeds down for a little while, but when they come back, we now have Jag talking to Cirie, giving her the news, revealing to her that, yeah, you may have thought you knew, but the reality is, yes, I am the secret HOH. He tells her, says, you're safe this week because I'm putting up Cory and America. Those are the two people who are going on the block. You're safe. Blue's safe. Felicia's safe. Cory and America, not so safe. You think Cirie's a little happy to hear that? Yeah, now Cirie's very happy. Turned into a good night for Cirie and for Felicia and for Blue as well. He's telling Cirie, saying, look, America and Cory, they've been driving a wedge between Blue and Matt and Jag and myself for quite a while now. Not just the last couple of days, for a long time. They've been driving this wedge between us. But he also tells Cirie, says, look, before the veto competitions, Blue had told me that Cory and America were after me. They've been revealing a lot of my conversations to them, to Blue and others. And he says that he realizes now that he's been protecting Cory and America this entire time. He's tired of doing it. They're going on the block. Now, I do understand why Jag is doing this. And I'm not saying it's a bad move. Cory is dangerous. And Cory and America certainly have been talking about going after Jag and Matt. So I think it's a valid move, but he has to be careful. Jag and Matt both have to be careful because it really puts both of them at risk. The first time one of them does not win an HOH going forward, it could easily be them on the block against each other, which means one or the other goes home. Remember that all-girls alliance that Felicia and Blue at different times had talked about? Yeah, you're going to be coming up against that, I'm afraid, if you put up Cory and send him out the door. So just something they need to keep in mind. I can see that there could be a possibility, even if Cory and America are up together, that Cory may use that to spin why he should stay over America when it comes to campaigning. Maybe convince Matt and Jag, send America out the door instead. Now, I don't know if they'd have the votes for it or not, but yeah, they've won so many competitions. I do feel like no matter what, they're going to have to win going through the rest of the season, pretty much win just almost everything. I think the first time they don't, they could be in trouble, but there you go. It's something. There's no perfect plan in the game of Big Brother, not at this point in time. You got to take your chances. You got to hope for the best on some of this, but something I hope they're thinking about. All right, later, huge conversation. Later, Jag is talking to Blue up in the have not room. He tells Blue that, well, I am the secret HOH and that Cory and America are going on the block this week. Blue, it's like the kid discovering the Christmas stocking on Christmas Day and a visit from Santa. Blue is very excited. She goes over, she hugs Jag. She cannot contain her excitement. I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. She's been wanting to go after Cory forever. She gets to do it now. She's obviously overjoyed. Now, Jag is apologizing to her. He's trying to do damage control. He's saying, look, I apologize for putting you up. I apologize for maybe not trusting you at different times. And they saying, but we had a conversation a couple of days ago that really convinced me that what you were saying is true. He's saying there for a while there, I trusted Cory and America. I believed them when they told me that you were coming after Matt and myself. He says, yeah, and I'm sorry. I believed them. I didn't believe you, but now I know that they are just snakes and it's just them doing that. And that you truly were not doing all they were saying. He said, but I just kept having different people. Cameron was telling me, they were telling me, all these people were telling me, and I just fell for it, Blue, and I apologize. Well, she's saying, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just so happy that you're HOH. I'm so happy that you're putting the two of them up. And she's saying, I'm so happy that I get to use a veto, that I get to play a part in sending Cory out the door, Cory America. I'm sure she said Cory. I can't remember now. But anyway, she said, I'm just so happy I get to play a veto and help send them out the door. So she's saying it doesn't matter, any of that. It doesn't matter. Will she really forgive him? Is she really all water under the bridge? I just don't see that in Blue. The fact that Jag was going after her, and I'm sure Cory and America are going to really push hard over the next few days that, hey, no, they were truly targeting you. They weren't just playing or anything. This wasn't a backdoor plan, Blue. You were the target going forward. Matt and Jag were going after you. Yeah, I don't know if Blue's going to forget that completely. If that's the case, and she may use that as an excuse somewhere down the road to cut Jag loose, saying, "Well, you didn't trust me, and it is what it is." Remember, she was willing to get rid of Jared, so I think she'll be ready to get rid of Jag if she has to. All I can think is, how much greater could this week have been if Jag hadn't told everyone that he was a secret HOH? If Felicia and Blue went on the block, and then suddenly Corey and America go on the block as replacements. Now, certainly there'd be people pointing fingers at Matt and Jag, but you never know. It could have been Bowie or someone. Anyway, we'll never know because he spilled the beans too quick. And with that, end of the evening, lights out. I don't know, 1:30 or so. It wasn't a really late night. They had a long day, a long day. So lights out, everyone shut down. And that's it for the overnight recaps. Now, Monday, tomorrow is a long time away in terms of what's actually going to happen to the veto ceremony. We've seen in this house, people will flip flop 50 times between now and then. But having said that, I really feel like Jag has pretty much walked himself into a corner at this point in time. I don't see how he could back down. I don't see how he could now flip away from America and Corey and go after Cirie or Felicia and do something at this point in time. Because remember, everyone else in this house is either in the final two chair or they're a juror. So if Jag has told Blue this, he's told Felicia, he's told Cirie this, if he's let them all know what's going on, that they're safe, and then he backtracks on any of that, he runs the risk of losing your votes in jury. I don't think he can do that. I think at this point, the die's been cast. It's going to be Corey and America on the block. And then we'll spend the rest of the week talking about which of those two are going home. It could be an exciting week. I'm looking forward to it. So there you have it, guys. Hope y'all have a great last little bit of your weekend. Man, it's so nice outside. Get outside, enjoy the outdoors a little bit. I'll be here tomorrow morning to give you a recap on what happened throughout the rest of the day and overnight. So until tomorrow morning, guys, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.